Hey everyone, I'm the Pixel Pathfinder. My goal is to help you find great new indie games to play. Today what I wanted to do was a sort of 2024 channel retrospective where I go back to about a year ago. We're going to go back to December of 2023 and just kind of take a look at the games that I played over the course of this year and give you some updates as to kind of where I stand on them and, you know, if I've continued to play them, if I'm still excited about them, just to kind of go back and recap because, you know, things change after your initial video for sure. So that's what we're going to do here today. Hopefully this will be interesting for you and maybe help you kind of find some games to play or to be excited about here in the near future. So we're going to go back to December because basically by the time we hit December, we're talking about games that are going to be played into the coming year anyway. So if we go back here, the first video that I recorded in December for a game last year was for Wordless. Decent amount of views here. Wordless was a turn-based platforming game that was really interesting, and I think it was interesting to play as a demo. Wasn't really my cup of tea. So I didn't end up like picking up or playing this game anymore. Like, would I recommend it to fans of the genre? Sure, I think it's still pretty good. Just again, not really my cup of tea. Next game we have here is The Last Flame. So The Last Flame was a auto battling game, and honestly there was a lot of promising auto battling stuff that was coming out this year, and I ended up being disappointed by most of it. I think Last Flame was one of the better games that we had this year in the auto battling genre in terms of an indie game, but the big thing for me here is that the graphics and art direction for the game just did not do enough. And what I mean by that is the characters that you can play as, the heroes that they have here, I don't feel like they have a lot of personality, and there's not really a reason for me to get super attached to them. So it's hard to be like, man, this is my favorite. When, you know, updates and stuff come along, it's not like, oh, this hero looks so cool. I think they could really stand to do like a very heavy investment on art direction and stuff if they were to, you know, kind of revamp this game, or if they were to make a second game. That would be my number one recommendation to them, is to just take the time, put more time into the heroes, into making them interesting. You know, you got to look at like it. To me, it's almost like League of Legends versus Dota, where like it's not that the Dota heroes are bad, but a lot of them do look like really generic and they have kind of generic names. Whereas if you look at the heroes for League of Legends, they're all very unique and distinct, and you know, they have personalities and backgrounds and everything, and that makes a big difference. The next game here is Angel Struck. So Angel Struck was a pretty interesting game that was kind of like Space Invaders in a sense, where you were playing as a character down on the ground and you were getting attacked by just waves and waves of enemies that were coming at you from above. Had a lot of fun playing this game. It was one that I was getting better and better at over time. It did release, and I have it, but I haven't really gone back to play it yet. Not because I don't want to, it's just, you know, a lot of stuff doesn't get prioritized when it comes to games for me. So it's not high enough on the priority list to have made it to where I've been playing it again. But it's one that I definitely want to return to. Beneath Our Racer was a game that I checked out that had been released in previous years that was pretty cool. I played this, did a couple of videos for it, and I haven't gone back to it just because there's been so much other stuff that I'd rather play. I think in like during a drier year, or when there were less games coming out, this might have been a game that I invested a good amount of time into, and I would still recommend it for people that like deck builders. I'll say the other thing here is that it's not a setting that really appeals to me a lot. I don't mind the graphics and stuff, but I'm really not into like steampunk, sci-fi, robots, and all that kind of stuff. I'm much more of a fantasy player in general. So it does take a lot to kind of get me invested in a game like this, just in terms of being immersed into the world. And so, you know, being able to do stuff with guns and lasers and everything, it's not entirely my cup of tea. And maybe if that had been different, I also would have gone back to it a little bit more. Dice Folk was a pretty fun sort of turn-based Pokemon-ish style game that I enjoyed the demo of quite a bit. It did release to fairly mixed reviews. It didn't look like they really expanded on it as much as I would have hoped. They do have a DLC expansion that came out that kind of brought some more things to the table, but this is one where like the demo was fun, but it felt like there wasn't a whole lot of depth there, or really a lot of opportunity for customization. Like the systems that they had in this game, like it's like they needed to be fleshed out more. And I just didn't really see that happen upon release. So I still got it. I'm still kind of following it, maybe waiting for it to drop down pretty low on a sale to pick it up and try it out. But because of that lack of iteration on what they already had, it just hasn't been something that, you know, I've been really excited or passionate about. Fumes was really exciting at the time that I played it because it kind of reminded me of Vigilante 8 and Twisted Metal, and I used to love those games back in the day. The Fumes demo was okay. It definitely had a lot of work to be done on it, and honestly, between when I did this video and now, there have actually been a couple of different vehicular car combat games announced in the same vein, and some of them look better than Fumes. Fumes is still not out, and I think I might be a little bit more excited about these other options that we've gotten since then. Blade Prince Academy was an anime-style CRPG that I played during the playtest, and I thought it was promising and had potential. At the end of the day, though, you know, CRPG is a genre that takes a lot of time investment. There's a lot of reading, character customization systems, etc. It's kind of hard to justify investing any time into something like Blade Prince Academy when realistically there's stuff out there to play like Baldur's Gate 3. That's not really a knock against Blade Prince Academy. That's tough competition. So I haven't gone back to revisit this game. Kiss K-Pop Idol Stories was really just a demo I checked out for fun because I hadn't really played any game like this, and it was fine. It's an idol management game. Was never going to be something that I actually went on to play myself for any significant amount of time, so I have not touched this or thought about it since I played this demo. Hidden in Time 2, Myths and Magic. The Hidden in Time games are great. They're not the kind of games that I typically go back to for like a casual play. They take some focus for me. Could be a good podcast game, or maybe like a Netflix on the side game, although I think you know want to be looking for things on the screen. This is one that I would definitely go back and play through here on the channel to kind of find everything. Outside of that, I'm not sure how much time I would spend getting back into this, but I do like these games and I do recommend them for anyone who likes a hidden object game. But that being said, there is another hidden object game that should be coming out in 2025 that I'm a little bit more excited about. Backpack Hero, I continued to play for the channel. Did a couple of videos here and haven't really messed with it since then. Again, not because I don't want to play it. There's just been so much other stuff to play. And the videos here on the channel didn't get a really great reception. So that kind of, for me, doing Let's Plays on the channel is a combination of playing something I want to play, but also that the audience wants to see. And I wasn't really getting the impression that people wanted to see more Backpack Hero. And so when I see that, it's like, okay, well, there are like 60 different games that I want to play. And if I'm not seeing a good reception on the channel for a game, then, I might as well go try a different one that I want to play and see if we get better reception for that. So that's kind of the main reason that I haven't picked Backpack Hero back up, but I have played a ton of this game. I played a ton of this game before it even ever made it to the channel. So I already feel like I've got my money's worth, and I would definitely recommend it to anybody who likes turn-based roguelikes and wants to do it with this inventory management style. Backpack Hero is a ton of fun. So it's a good one. Time Walker Dark World. Yeah, I don't even I'm looking at it and I remember this game, but I forgot I covered this game. I mean, I don't know if I need to say any more than that. It was fine. The demo was fine, but I had zero interest in continuing to play this game afterwards. Next game here is Lure and the Dim Settlers. This is a city building puzzle style game, tile based game. The name of this changed. I can't remember what it changed to. It's something like Light Bringers or Lamp Bringers, or I don't know, something like that. This is a game that the demo was fun. I enjoyed it. It's not really my kind of game, so Very slim chance that I go back to it and play it anymore myself, but if you like city building puzzler style games, I would recommend this one because it was fun, and I did think that it had a very good system in it, and so highly recommend to anybody who wants kind of like a pick up, put down, casual city building puzzling game. Moving on to SteamWorld Build, I thought this was a really good city builder. I myself am not a big city builder player. Very rarely I get hooked into one. I think the last one I got hooked into was SimCity like 10 years ago or something, whatever that one is, that a lot of people hated. I actually really enjoyed it. I was looking forward to City Skylines 2, but that hasn't panned out very well at all. So SteamWorld Build, I actually did have a lot of fun with this, and I'd recommend it to anybody who's looking for a city builder because it was fun. It was interesting. I like the mechanics. It's got like 2 different layers. The top layer is where you like build your city, and then underground there's like you kind of dig through these caves and stuff, or mines, or whatever you want to call them, to find resources and different stuff. And the combination of those together was really interesting. Me personally, again, I'm not into the steampunk robot sci-fi kind of stuff, but I do like SteamWorld just as a world in general. And so, yeah, I could see myself, if I really wanted a city builder, if I wanted to play a city builder, I think this is the one that I would go back to and play, at least as of the making of this video. It's just, that's not often something that I want to do. Next, we had Yohane and the Parhelion. This was a deck building game with AAA quality in an anime world. The demo was really, really fun to play. This game is out. It's got pretty good reviews, and I would recommend it to anybody who wants a high quality deck building game with an anime theme that kind of looks like a AAA, you know, maybe like a PlayStation title or something like that. Here's the thing with me and deck builders, and you're going to see this like throughout this, you know, retrospective, but also throughout 2025. I've played so many deck builders, and there have been so many deck builders that I am just burnout. If you put a deck builder in front of me that is like every other deck builder that's been coming out for the last, you know, like 7 years, I get 2 matches in and start to fall asleep because I'm just so bored. It's like a lot of games are coming out that just stick to the formula with some kind of theme, and a lot of these are indie games that have the same formula as every other game that's come out, but then on top of that they got like shovelware graphics and stuff like that, and so it takes a lot to hook me in. One thing Yohane did really well is the quality of everything, just like, you know, the character models, the card art, all that kind of stuff. Really, really good. But the thing about that is the quality alone wasn't enough to push me to purchase this game when it did come out. I could see myself playing this in the future, maybe, but there's like 80 million deck builders that come out every single year. So I don't know if I'd ever get around to it because I'd always be checking out the new stuff. Like I said, if it looks interesting to you, I do recommend it. It was really good. It's just not one that I picked up and continued playing for myself. Kusan City of Wolves was a Hotline Miami style game. Very good, fun demo here. I wasn't very good at it and had to, you know, keep practicing to pass things here. It looks like a lot of fun. I didn't really play the Hotline Miami games, and I'm not sure if I'll play this one when it comes out. Not because it was bad. I actually thought it was quite good, but again, not really my style of game that I get into and put a ton of hours into. Also, I don't know if I think this game is slated to come out in like 2026. It's a long ways off. So I think it'll be a long time before we have to make that decision. And it may be the case that it just comes out way, way, way too late. But we'll have to see. Tavern Talk was a visual novel combined with kind of like a bartender simulator in some senses here. I really enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the plot. I enjoyed the theme, the bartending, the different drinks that you had. Everything about this game I really, really thought was good, but I do not play visual novels in my free time. I want to get in and play a game. I don't really want to get in and read a lot. If I want to read, typically I'm going to read a book in some other context where it's like I can listen to an audiobook when I'm working out or when I'm, you know, doing chores or something like that. So I have a hard time these days getting into a game and being invested in the storyline. The other big thing there is that, you know, when I get into a game that has a heavy storyline and has really tough competition, because I'm tired all the time, and when that story pops up, it becomes a competition between whatever they're trying to get me to read and how desperately I want to take a nap. And usually the nap wins. And so then I have to, you know, wake up and be like, oh, what was I doing? Or I have to like go, I don't want to take a nap, so I'm going to get up and go do something else. That said, Tavern Talk, this is a game that I would continue to play here on the channel if there was interest. I mean, based on the views that I got on this video and kind of the response, I don't know if there's a lot of interest, but I 100% would play this game for the channel, on the channel, if there was interest, because, yeah, I did really enjoy it. Zero Division was a cyberpunk style deck building game in the vein of kind of like Slay the Spire that I enjoyed quite a bit when I played the demo. It did come out. I don't think the reviews have been too bad or anything, but the problem was there's a different cyberpunk deck building game in the works called Into the Grid, and I played the demo for that one. I haven't made a video on it, but I did mention it in one of my, I think it was the top 5 for November, maybe, video that I put it in. In that game, Into the Grid, I think I like better than this one, and so they were both like in progress at the time that I played the demos, and I liked Into the Grid more, so Zero Division kind of fell off for that reason. I was like, I'm not going to play 2 cyberpunk deck building games. I'm going to pick the one I like the more, and that just happened to be Into the Grid. Mice Guard. This game is trash. Don't play it. Don't buy it. Don't watch the video. I'm kind of sad that I made a video for it. But I kind of had to because I requested a key for it because I thought it looked like it had potential, but it's not good. Yeah, this is one of the worst games I made a video for in 2024. Next on the list is the Spirit Lift. This is a combination of deck builder and almost like a dungeon crawler that has the 90s horror movie vibes to it. Definitely a lot of potential here. This game's still not out yet. It's still being worked on. And I think if you're a fan of that combination of gameplay mechanics, or if you really like the aesthetic, this is going to be one for you to check out. I did enjoy it quite a bit, but we're going to go back to what I said about there being a million deck builders. And for me, personally, as a someone who's heavily invested in playing deck builders, it just doesn't do enough for me. So I don't know if I'll end up playing this one when it comes out or not. We'll have to see. Wild Bastards. This is a sequel to Void Bastards. It's a first-person shooter roguelike with different characters. I really enjoyed the demo that I played. It came out to fairly mixed reviews, though, so I didn't take the initiative to pick up and purchase the game myself at the time, and I don't know that I will, but if it were to come bundled in like a Humble Bundle or something like that, or if it went on sale for pretty cheap, I could see myself picking this up when I did want to play, because it was enjoyable to me. Wasn't like amazing, but I probably could have been pushed over the edge to pick it up if the reviews had been stellar when it came out, but they weren't. So this one is kind of like a backlog title, I would say. Next up, we have Dyson Fold, and look, we finally get to a game where I can say wholeheartedly, this game is awesome. I did pick it up. I have played a ton of it, and I will continue to play a ton of it. Dyson Fold is one of the best games that I've played this year. I just really, really enjoy what it does. It is low stakes in the sense that, you know, you can get in and you can play this game and you can have a fun time, but it doesn't feel like you got to prep to play the game and be like, man, I got to have the right energy levels. I got to be in the right mood. You could just kind of boot this up and like do a run or two and have fun. And I really, really enjoy Dyson Fold. It's one of my most highly recommended titles from this year. And I can't wait to see what this studio continues to do in the future, or how they continue to expand on Dyson Fold. Next up, we got Tactical Breach Wizards. Absolutely love this demo. This is a turn-based tactics style game on a grid with a great sense of humor. and I really enjoyed this. It has released. The reception has been really good. The reviews have been great. I haven't picked it up myself yet, but not because I don't intend to. It's just a matter of, you know, I hold off on buying games until I feel like I'm going to have time to play them. Especially since I do get a lot of game keys and things like that already. I have a bunch of games to play already. So Tactical Breach Wizards, I have not purchased yet, but I will. At some point, I will purchase it. I will play through it, preferably here on the channel. Absolutely great game. I would say it's up there with Dice and Fold as one of the most fun games I played this year. Next up, we have Handmancers. So Handmancers is a deck building game based on a rock, paper, scissors system. And if we go back to what I've been saying this whole time about deck builders, Handmancers is a game that does enough to make it interesting to me. Everything from kind of like the first person perspective to the whole rock, paper, scissors mechanics and everything. This game has not come out yet, but I am still very much looking forward to it. It is still very high up on my list for most anticipated games, and I can't wait to play this one. The art style is great. The art direction's great. Again, the perspective, the UI design, and just the battle system itself. Everything about it, I think, looks really cool, and I'm really excited. Creatures of Ava was a creature collection type game where there's no combat, but you go around and you're trying to essentially save monsters on this planet that's going to get destroyed. It's kind of the gist of what I got from it. The reception to this video, as you can see here, was not super high. And I would kind of say that's where Creatures of Ava lands for me. Like, there's nothing wrong with the game. It's a very particular type of game. It's kind of niche. I don't think a lot of people would get into it, but if you like creature collecting games and you want to try one that's not focused on combat, then I would recommend Creatures of Ava. I enjoyed my time with the demo, but this is generally speaking not a genre of game that I'm going to invest a lot of my own personal time into, so I haven't played this one since the demo. Next up, we have Dimensionals. Dimensionals just came out. I think it was November 14th or 18th, somewhere in there. And this is a turn-based roguelike game with a bunch of different heroes in it. And I do have this game. I haven't played it since it came out, but not because I don't intend to. I absolutely will be playing the Dimensionals over the course of 2025. It's just been a matter of having other things to play. And something I will say is the characters that you could play as in the demo and the characters that you were able to unlock were not characters. I liked the characters, but they weren't the ones that like resonated with me and made me go, ooh, I want to keep playing these characters. They're awesome, right? So I need to get into it and I need to find those characters. And I think once I find those characters and kind of lock into a few different ones that I really like playing, that'll kind of up my interest in playing Dimensionals on a more consistent basis. Next, we have Dongwu Odyssey. I don't care about this game. This is another one. It's not as bad as Mice Guard by any means. You know, I tried to look at this one for what it was, review it with the gacha mechanics in mind, which I really don't have a problem with as long as they're done right. But at the end of the day, like, I don't care. Like, there's just something about this game that just makes me not care about it. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what it is, but you know, if you're really jonesing for something that's kind of like Darkest Dungeon, then check it out. But otherwise, nah, just pass. Next up is Vivid World. So Vivid World, I played the demo of this so much that I'm sick of it. I really liked Vivid Night, and I like Vivid World, so don't get it twisted here. I like Vivid World. I'm looking forward to the full release, but please don't ask me to play the demo again, because, man, I can only take playing the same thing over and over so many times. I think I played through the demo, I don't know, like 9 or 10 times. I enjoy Vivid World. I find it to be quite fun. I'm looking forward to the full release, but I'm avoiding it like the plague until we get that, so that's about where I'm at on that one. Bramble Royale. So this was the third game in the Meteor Fall series. The first Meteor Fall game I didn't play. The second Meteor Fall game was Crummets Tale, which I really love. And Bramble Royale is a game that I really enjoyed. I am still very much looking forward to this game. It's definitely up there in my most anticipated games of 2025. I love the art style, I love the characters, I love the universe, and the gameplay for this was really fun too. So very, very much looking forward to this game. Pairs and Perils was a sort of casual game that I played here. It's like a matching game where you kind of gotta, match cards that you flip over and, remember what went where. And the demo was something that was like fine, but really needed a lot of work to be something that would be worth playing beyond the demo. From what I have seen from the updates that we've been getting from the developers on this game, it does look like they are starting to put in the work to make this something more chunky, something with more depth to it, to develop it a little bit further. But I think this game really hinges on what they actually do. It could be something in the vein of like Dyson Fold, although I don't personally think it's ever going to get as good as that game. But it could get closer to that based on how they develop it, or it could just be something that honestly doesn't feel like it has much depth and probably isn't worth your time. Next, we have Kill Knight. So Kill Knight, I played for this demo. I have not played it since then. It is a fantastic game, though. If you want to play a bullet hell game in a dark fantasy world where you literally play as the Kill Knight, this game is great. It's got so much going on. It has a lot of mechanical complexity. If you're the kind of person that wants to sit there and, time your reloads and time this and dodge this and use the appropriate move here and there and get really technical with it, this game is going to be fantastic for you. For me, it takes a lot of concentration, and I definitely got to be in the right mood to play something like this. And at the moment, that just hasn't been happening a lot. So I don't know how much I'll go back to Kill Knight, but I do recommend it. If you look at it and you're like, that looks kind of cool, yeah, I would check it out because the quality is all there, and it is a lot of fun. That brings us to Billionaire. So Billionaire is a game that I basically said would be a nice sort of like casual game to play. The game hasn't released yet, but it was a lot of fun when I played the demo here, and I don't know if I'll buy this game for myself. But again, if I had a key or if I had a bundle or something like that, I could see this being something that I played as, again, just kind of like a casual, sort of turn my brain off style game. It's got enough colors and interesting choices that you make that I think it could keep the variety there without it feeling like you really have to like invest a lot of mental energy into it. Obviously, if you want to get really good and top the leaderboards, you'll have to do that. But if you just kind of want to play it casually and make some progression, I think that's something you could totally do. Then we have Starvaders. So Starvaders, I think on the thumbnail here, I said it's an easy addition to my most anticipated of 2025. And that still stands true. This is a deck building game, but it's interesting because it's set on a grid, but not your typical grid like you'd have in a turn-based tactics game. It's set up in a grid where you're kind of doing this like Space Invaders stuff. And that just makes for an interesting system. And even though I'm not particularly into sci-fi, the whole anime mech thing that they have going on is cool. They got different mechs to play with, and then there's different pilots as well. So there's a lot of like variety, and I think you'll really be able to find like a mech pilot combination that is like a play style you feel like, oh, this is me. This is the play style I like. So I think it shows a lot of promise, and I'm still really looking forward to seeing what Starvaders is going to look like when it does eventually come to some sort of a release. And then that brings us to the most recent game that I've done a video here on, which is Halls of Torment. Halls of Torment is a game that came out a while back. I can't remember if it came out this year or the year before, but this is a bullet heaven style game in the vein of something like Vampire Survivors, but it's got a very like retro look to it that's reminiscent of dark fantasy games like the Diablo series. So if you like games like Vampire Survivors, this is one to check out. And if you like that art style from like Diablo, maybe some of the older Baldur's Gate games and things like that, then this is also another one to check out. Me personally, though, when it comes to bullet heaven style games, I still, at this moment, have my favorite game being Soulstones. Soulstone Survivors. I think that's what it's called. The name is eluding me at the moment. But I would rather play that game than play Halls of Torment. Just a personal preference thing. I don't necessarily think one game is better than the other. It's just I feel like one of them is more suited to my taste and the way that I like to play. And so Halls of Torment, probably not going to get a lot of playtime for me just by nature of there's other games, specifically another game in the genre that I vastly prefer, and this isn't a genre I play a lot of. So if I'm going to go back to that, for right now, I'm going to invest in the game that I'm having the most fun in, and unfortunately, that's not Halls of Torment. So, that is a retrospective on 2024 here on the channel, and I will tell you, out of everything that we've seen here that is not released so far, I'm still very much looking forward to Handmancers when that comes out. Bramble Royale and Starvaders are kind of like the top three, not out yet, but what I'm really looking forward to the most coming up this year. That being said, this year was a pretty interesting one for me, IRL. Lots and lots and lots of work stress, and that's why you saw inconsistencies with, my upload cadence and different things like that. It is what it is. Coming up in 2025, I've got a few things that are going to shake things up for me. I should be transitioning to a new job here, which, there's going to be a transitioning process, but the job itself is going to have a schedule that is much more conducive to content creation and lower amounts of stress. So that should help me with being able to create content here on the channel. Also, at some point this coming year, probably in the spring, I'm going to be moving from one state to a different state. So that's also going to throw a wrench in things there for me, both in terms of having to prepare for that move, having to execute the move, and then having to get things set up on the other side, including things like selling the house that I'm currently in. So there's some stuff that's going to shake things up this year, but my goal for 2025 is to be more consistent in my content creation and to plan for those events that are coming up so that I can still have content rolling out for you guys, even when I have stuff going on IRL. So hopefully that's what you're going to see here. I'm going to shoot for a minimum of a video every week, preferably more than that, but maybe during those transition times that I have, it'll just be at least a video a week. So that's kind of my goal. That's what I'm trying to head for in 2025. Thank you to all the new subscribers who subscribed this year. I want you to know that, even with those hiccups and inconsistencies in the upload schedule, I don't have any intention of not continuing to post content here on Pixel Pathfinder. So your subscription is still a good investment for Indie Games content. And honestly, the more and more settled I get in my new job, in my new location, I'm at the point now where it's like, okay, I got to where I wanted to career-wise, and so hopefully I can settle in, get into a little bit more of a routine, and that will produce more frequent and consistent uploads for you guys over the coming years. So again, thank you. I hope you all have a wonderful December holiday and enjoy your new year, and there will be uploads between now and then. So as always, I'll see you on the next video.